We're now streaming, so whenever you guys are ready, we're good to go.
All right. Good afternoon, Atlanta, Georgia. Happy Friday to everyone who's listening in today. Good afternoon again. It's just been some time since we've reached out to you guys, but thank you for joining us today for a special installment of our Federal Opportunity Zone discussion with Dr. Ed Smith and his team. As you guys may know, Ed manages our Opportunity Zones initiative, but he's also taken on an additional role in Invest Atlanta, and we're so thrilled to have Ed leading our Southside strategy and special initiatives since the last time we've chatted. And just to date, just let everyone know that we've already had an initial kickoff webinar, and we did that this week with our Summerhill partners and Councilmember Carla Smith. This was a really fantastic event. So if you have a chance, you should check out. We did record it, and it'll live on the Invest Atlanta site and on our Facebook site. So today, we're just checking in on the OZ updates and how our work is changing and evolving, and the new direction that we're taking with our Southside strategy, and how that fits into our recently announced economic mobility strategy. If you haven't had a chance to check this out yet, you really should check this out. It lives on the Invest Atlanta website, but it can also be found on the mayor's website. But in addition to that, we have a couple of other exciting things that we're going to talk with Ed about today. And just for awareness, you know, Ed has been with us for the past year, I think year and a half, but he's also got two amazing AmeriCorps Vistas who've been working with us during that time, Caroline and CJ. And so you're going to hear from them today. Today will be a little bit of culmination of their work that they've been doing with us. So very excited about having them and having them join us today. So we'll go through a little bit of the Southside strategy and some of the tools today. So I hope you guys find this informative. We're very glad to be back online with you guys today and look forward to future events. So without further ado, let's go into it today, and we'll kick it off. And so Ed, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. So thank you, Nathan. Before I dive into a little bit on how we are overlapping the Southside and Opportunity Zone work, I was wondering if you could provide a little bit more context on our economic mobility strategy that we've been developing over the past few months.
Yeah, glad to do that. And certainly we at Invest Atlanta at the city level are very excited about the launch of the Southside strategy. And this has been going on for a bit. We've re-energized that with you, Ed. Obviously having your leadership on this subject is really, really exciting. So just to date, as you guys can see, we've been working over the past year and a half on an inclusive economic mobility strategy that really focuses on creating strong neighborhoods, continued growth of job and investments with an emphasis on bridging gaps across equity. That is one of the main focuses at Invest Atlanta. Economic equity sits like a lens on every single project, program, and dollar that we spend. We are launching this economic mobility and economic strategy really to show that we can break down these barriers that we have in the city so that everyone can benefit from economic vitality that the city has and will continue to have as we move through this COVID crisis and begin recovery. And certainly, you know, I think this is a timely subject for us. You know, obviously COVID has really put a strain on the entire city. And so this is a great opportunity for us to launch this strategy and really make sure that we come out on the backside of COVID stronger. So special emphasis on the South Side. We'll be focusing, all of our efforts will be focused on the South Side. So innovation, entrepreneurship, small business retention and expansion, bringing tech innovation to the South Side, working with our South Side partners and with our council members to really make sure that we're elevating the South Side, and then all the levers that we have in Invest Atlanta, that we use all of those to bring everybody up across the city, but specifically on the South Side. Hope that helps.
Thanks. So one of the questions, next slide, please. One of the questions that is oftentimes asked is why the South Side? So the South Side has the highest concentration of people living under the federal poverty guidelines. The South Side has a lack of access to healthy food options. Home values are lower on the South Side. So when Nathan was talking about the economic mobility strategy, the South Side, the area in Atlanta, south of I-20, really is the target area that we are focusing on to intentionally promote sustainable and inclusive economic development in our city. And we can use our toolkit to improve the built environment, as Nathan mentioned, to support businesses, really create employment opportunities, and work with organizations that can help facilitate job training and ensure that those that are living in the Southside can access jobs as recent developments come online, and take a genuine approach to engaging the community on Invest Atlanta's initiatives and our approaches in the area. Next slide, please. So how are we doing this? Through our toolkit. Again, so community engagement, this includes events that are hosted by Invest Atlanta. And for those of you in the audience who are watching, I know that many of you have community-oriented events. We are happy to support your events as well. I can hop on a webinar, Nathan can hop on a webinar, our Vistas can hop on webinars, and we can work with you to provide more access and insight to the Invest Atlanta Toolkit, which involves tools to support small businesses, tools to support housing, and tools that are aligned with our business attraction and retention. One of which that the Vistas have been working very closely on has been our Federal Opportunity Zone initiative. You can learn more about that at atlopportunityzones.com. Next slide, please.
Just one thing before we go there from there. Sorry about that, Ed.
Sure.
If you don't mind going back one slide. Yeah, and just for everyone who's listening, for your awareness, we do have other economic development tools that we can use across the city, but specifically in the South Side. So if you're a small business owner and you're wanting to hire new employees, we have a workforce development agency that can pay for training for those employees. If you are a small business owner and you want to open a new business on the South Side, for example, a second or third location, all of our small business loans that we have at Invest Atlanta are available to you. You should always check out our loans that we have on our website. If you're interested even remotely about some of our loan products, you should reach out to us. If you're listening and you're maybe a medium-sized business or a large-sized business and you want to make an investment in the city of Atlanta, and you're going to do that in the South Side, we have grant opportunities and special incentive opportunities that we offer to medium and large size companies that are investing large amounts of money and creating a lot of jobs. So we also have those tools together. So we have a whole toolbox of tools that you can plug in, all the way from innovation and entrepreneurship to large companies. So just want to make sure that anyone who's listening knows about those additional tools. Sorry about that, Ed.
No, thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that. So I'm really going to turn this over to the Vistas. If we can just do one more slide. If you were to go to atlopportunityzone.com, you'll go and see a mapping tool where you can go on and layer in and determine whether an address is located in a federal OZ, tax allocation district, proximity to the Beltline, eligibility for new markets tax credits, get information on the Georgia State Opportunity Zone jobs tax credit. So the reason why we talk about OZs in the context of our Southside initiative is because the majority of the federal opportunity zones are located on the South Side. But I won't steal the thunder from our illustrious Vista. So can we just go to the next slide, please, where they can introduce themselves and talk about their work promoting community engagement and supporting our Opportunity Zone and Southside initiatives. Thank you very much.
All right, so thanks, Ed, and thanks to everyone joining us on the call today. I'm CJ Morris, and I'm joined by my colleague, Caroline Redd. You want to chime in for a second to say hello, Caroline?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So over the past year, many of you who have attended some of our events have likely seen us maybe following Ed around like little ducklings and maybe wondered what it is we do. You've probably even heard us throw around the word Vista, but we haven't always stopped to explain what Vista is and how we got here. And so we just wanted to briefly let you know the way that we got here is in 2019, in response to the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017, the Rockefeller Foundation launched an initiative known as the Opportunity Zones and Community Capacity Building Initiative in 2019. And with that initiative, they sent grants and technical assistance to 6 partnering cities. And Atlanta has actually taken a leading role in the federal discussion about opportunity zones. And now our work has expanded to the South Side through a partnership with an organization known as cities of service, 2 vistas were sent to each of these 6 cities, and we are the 2 vistas that were sent to Atlanta. We're very proud to be here and the work that we've been able to do over the past year. And as Nathan mentioned earlier, economic mobility and equity drives everything that we're doing. And so I want to go to the next slide. I want to draw your attention to this has been the driving strategy behind our work over the past year. And like I was saying, economic mobility and equity drives all of that. And that second tab on there, small business, is the lens through which we view most of this work. So I won't spend too much time talking about small business. I'm going to start with convening, because what we see as our role in the opportunity zone space in particular is that of a convener and an informer. And so much of our work has been focused on that. We've hosted several engagement events that have included project sponsors, investors, and the community at large. We've also helped to drive the communication strategy for the Opportunity Zone initiative, and now the work being done in the Southside. And this series this is part of a broader series that we've produced over the past few months since COVID started. This series is an example of that. We've also done things like blog posts and other communications initiatives. In addition to that, going to tab 4, data and reporting has been central to everything that we do. And so we have to do monthly updates to our sponsors and key stakeholders. We also do a weekly review of new projects and the potential impact that those projects could have on the work being done. And then I'll jump back to the first tab, the 26 Opportunity Zone engagement strategy. This is the way that we try and apply this to each and every one of those other tabs. We want to make sure that all the work we do touches all 26 of the opportunity zones that live within the city of Atlanta. And so we're most proud about that component of our work. And part of that has been a surveying process that we've done that has actually allowed us to put boots on the ground in all 26 of those opportunity zones. And we've gotten out, we've taken pictures, we've done research and collected data, and that has allowed us to begin to help those communities tell their stories. And thanks to our partners, Opportunity Exchange, who are joining us on the call today, we have an exciting new tool that allows us to showcase that work. But before we jump to that, I want to turn it over to my colleague to talk about our initiative in greater detail and the engine through which we've been driving that, which was also built by Opportunity Exchange.
Thanks, CJ. So I'll share my screen and we can see what this portal looks like. So if you go to atlopportunityzones.com, this is what you'll see. This is our homepage. And eventually, when our community profiles tool is launched, that will live on this page as well that you'll be able to access. But I want to draw your attention to this map function here that Ed mentioned earlier. So these outlines are the 26 opportunity zones. And on this right side, you can actually layer different incentives and districts. So the city council districts are here. And let's put in an address just to see what that will look like. So I'll put in Invest Atlanta's address. And it'll populate some options for you. So here you can see the Invest Atlanta address is actually within an opportunity zone. And you can scroll out and see where that is on the map. You can layer other incentives. And you can try this with your own address, you can try this with your business address and see where you fall on that map. So if we scroll here to resources, you can also see a little bit about our social impact program. There are some social impact funds that have participated in our initiative and more information. There's also some financing tools that I'll talk about in our About page as well. You can locate them on the resources page here, or you can also locate them on the About page. So here's a little bit more information you can read over on the Opportunity Zone initiative at Invest Atlanta. And also there's a presentation here at the bottom you can actually download and review for yourself. And these financing tools here, we have them broken down into some different groups, so developers, startups, small business, medium, large business, and you can click those and they'll link to the Invest Atlanta website. Those are just a short list of some of the tools that we have in our toolbox, but Invest Atlanta has tons of tools, as Nathan was discussing earlier, that you can use in the city of Atlanta. So now that you've seen our portal, you will be able to see where that tool will live later on. And I'm going to turn it over to Peter, the co-founder of the Opportunity Exchange, which is a collaborative platform for place-based economic development. Their newest tool is a prospectus in the box tool that allows organizations to understand and market their neighborhoods, cities, counties, and/or regions through community profiles. So Peter, tell us a little bit about this tool and why we're so excited about it.
Yeah, happy to. Thanks, Caroline, and thanks, CJ, Ed, Nathan, for all the work that you do and for inviting us to be a part of the conversation today. Caroline and CJ, it's been awesome to see the evolution of your work over the year that you've been working in the city. And you know, from our perspective at the Opportunity Exchange, it's been a real pleasure to be able to work with you guys, learn from you guys, and support the various initiatives that you've kicked off in the city. So as Caroline said, my name is Peter. I'm one of the co-founders of the Opportunity Exchange. And today I'm really excited to share a new tool that the Invest Atlanta team will be using to support some of the work that sits behind this initiative. I'll give you a quick overview of the Opportunity Exchange and then share some of the goals behind this new tool before turning it back over to CJ, who will walk through an example of how the tool can be used to support the various activities that will be part of this Southside effort. So first, the Opportunity Exchange. Who are we and what do we do? The Opportunity Exchange is a platform of tools that helps make community building easier for community leaders to understand and more engaging for community residents across the city. In doing so, we're hoping to lower the barrier for participation in the process of building communities for cities and its residents and small business owners, and to make it more engaging and collaborative for Ed and the team here to work with all of you across the city of Atlanta. Our platform helps guide everybody through this process, allowing them to get connected and learn in areas where they don't necessarily have deep expertise. And we're really excited to be and honored to be able to support the work of this team here, and to be a part of serving all of the folks who are on the call today across the city of Atlanta. With that, we're really excited to share this new tool with everybody today. It's called the Opportunity Exchange Introduce, or TOE Introduce for short, and it really has two goals. The first is to create a mechanism for sharing the vision for Southside Atlanta neighborhoods, using it as a tool to share that vision and promote the inclusive economic development within initiatives and activities that everybody wants to see happen within each of these different communities. That's the first goal of the tool. And the second, which I'll talk through in a moment, is to create new mechanisms for residents in Southside communities, business owners in these communities, to provide input and feedback, ideas to the Invest Atlanta team as they build these profiles for each of the different opportunity zone communities and communities more generally across the south side of the city. So I'll take each of those two goals in turn really quickly, share a little bit about how they'll work, and then I'll turn it over to CJ, who will walk through sort of an example of what that would look like for one neighborhood and one community in particular. On the first goal around helping share the vision for Southside Atlanta communities, if you go to the next slide, you can see an example of what this will look like. But part of why we're really excited to bring this tool to the team here and to Atlanta more generally is that it helps really easily create very marketable profiles and very kind of digestible profiles for a number of the different neighborhoods across the city and particularly in the Southside. The team in Invest Atlanta will be able to create profiles that, CJ will show you an actual example in a moment of what that looks like, but create profiles for the various opportunity zones and neighborhoods in the South Side of the city. And then keep those up to date with really compelling information about the different assets that exist within those communities, key things that residents are looking to see happen in those communities, and projects that are currently planned or in the works in those places. So our hope here is, again, that this tool becomes a mechanism for helping to share the vision for collectively where all of our work is pointing in terms of where we want to see these communities going, and using it as a tool to promote that vision of more inclusive and equitable economic development. The second part of the tool, which I think Caroline might speak to a little bit, is around community and resident engagement. A key part of making these profiles real and authentic is having them include and represent the voices of the residents, business owners, and everybody else who contributes to the growth and vitality of each of these different neighborhoods. So the second part of this tool includes a survey and engagement mechanism, which will enable you all who are on the call today to provide your input, your thoughts, and your contributions to the way in which this story is told, so that the Invest Atlanta team can learn from that and integrate that into these profiles as they then use these to help tell the story for these different communities. So we're really excited to be able to announce this with you all today, and then to work on it more deeply over the weeks to come. And we're really excited about this new phase in our partnership with all of you in the city of Atlanta. I'll turn it over to CJ now. I think we'll share some specifics of what these profiles look like, and some examples for where this work is headed.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And I've told you personally how excited I am to kind of open up this opportunity and to share this with the community. I think it's a dynamic tool and we can do a lot of good work with it. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. But while I'm doing that, I also want to be sure to share with the audience exactly what Vista is. And something people may not realize about Caroline and I and what Vistas do in communities. And so Vista means it's a federal program that means volunteers in service to America. It started with LBJ decades ago. It even predates its parent organization, which is AmeriCorps, which is a domestic counterpart, if you would, to Peace Corps. But AmeriCorps was started during the Clinton administration to manage all of the community service initiatives throughout the country. And so that means that Caroline and I are just regular citizens, just like everyone in the audience, who have committed to a year of service to our city. And we want to help to drive some of these outcomes in our own communities. And so that's why we're here doing this work today, and that we've been doing over the past year. And so I'm excited to have this opportunity to provide a tool like this to the communities that we serve and that we live in. We both live here in the local community. And so we put together a profile for Pittsburgh to highlight what we've found, and we'll also allow the audience or the community to join this conversation at one point. But we've gone into the communities, like I said, we put boots on the ground. And so we took pictures of, some of the different assets in those communities. And so we're happy that this tool allows us to show our rendition of what the community looks like, but we also are excited that this tool also allows the community to add to that storytelling capability. We've also gone in and we've begun to add some of the data that we've collected in the communities. For example, Pittsburgh is home to 282 families. Things like that that's important to drive in that conversation. That is a total of 1,389 people in those families. People matter in these discussions. And so, even when we talk about educational outcomes, the fact that we now know, or we're able to communicate, that there are over there are 263 people under the age of 18 in Pittsburgh. Data like that is key to driving some of those outcomes. And so we view this as citizens as an opportunity to invite other citizens to come and join the discussion and add to the discussion and to inform those outcomes that happen in their community. And so Caroline's going to kind of come back and talk about what that component, the community component, could look like.
Thanks, CJ. So we're going to be creating a survey component with key partners in the community. And that's really going to allow citizens, residents, business owners in these communities to give their feedback, to submit their own photos, to submit their own landmarks and anchor institutions they want to see on this map, to tell us what the community need is, to tell us why they love their communities, and have that displayed on these different community profiles. So we're really hoping to do this throughout neighborhoods in Atlanta, not only opportunity zones, but in general in neighborhoods throughout the city, and really invite citizens and residents to participate in this. So again, thank you so much, Peter, and to the Opportunity Exchange for working with us to create this tool that we're really excited to launch. And I'll hand it back to Dr. Ed Smith to give us any more thoughts.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was an amazing presentation of this new tool that you all have worked with the Opportunity Exchange to launch here in Atlanta. We'd like to thank Nathan Regan, Senior Vice President of Economic Development, for attending this webinar and providing an overview of our economic mobility strategy. And we want to thank you as a viewing audience, because you could have been viewing any webinar at this point in time, or you could be doing anything, but you decided to spend time with Invest Atlanta and the Vista team. So with that being said, please visit atlopportunityzones.com to learn more about our Federal Opportunity Zone initiative, to learn more about the initiatives that we are promoting on the Southside, because those financing tools and resources that Caroline pointed out in her presentation are not limited to Federal Opportunity Zones. Those are Atlanta-based tools, and through our work, we want to make sure that we can promote inclusive economic development throughout the entire city, particularly on the Southside. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for your time, and please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.